are you? It's Sharon from Accidental Art Maker. I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Actually thought we were supposed to start at 5:30, so I started my happy hour a little bit early. I'm sure that's okay with you. So tonight I just thought I would actually schedule a live instead of just jumping on and doing art. I thought I would try to schedule something and see if anybody had anything that they wanted to learn. And we have somebody. I have to admit, I know her already. Her name is Jenny. I've known her for a little bit. And she bought some transfers from me probably about a month or two ago. And she hasn't used them yet. And so I thought, let me show you how to use them. So let's give Jenny a big hand and welcome her on board. Yay, Jenny!
Hi. Thanks for including me.
What's that?
I said thanks for including me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Thanks for showing up. I'm sorry it's so late your time. I honestly thought it was
That's
like Jenny
okay.
will be up at 8:30, but it's like
Yeah. I'm not that old.
Well, you don't have to be old to not want to be live streaming at 9:00 at night. So
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So full disclosure, Jenny and I met our freshman year in high school, in college, which was in 1984. So we've known each other for a long time. So if it seems like we're very familiar with each other when she's asking me questions, that's why, because we do know each other very well. She's my best friend. We actually do a podcast. I'll do a short plug here, Jenny. We do a podcast for women who are in midlife plus. So like if you are hitting menopause or in menopause or after menopause, and you want to check that out, let me know and I can send you information for that too or post it somewhere. But it's really fun. And so Jenny and I have been through the thick and thin of it. And tonight we're going to go through transfers.
Okay. I'm glad. Yeah, because I know that I think they're beautiful and I want to make something really pretty with them, but I don't know what my first step should be.
Yeah. When I show you and you see how easy it is, you're going to be like, I should have just done it a long time ago. Just gotten started. Okay. So I'm going to point my camera down and then I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger. If you've just joined in, let us know where you're watching from. And let me know if you have any questions along the way, either about transfers or my friendship with Jenny. Okay.
There are no secrets.
No. Not tonight on this show. We were freshmen in college together, and that's where we met, and in Virginia, and it was quite a life learning experience for me.
I think most freshman years of college are.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I was going to dig them out, but I didn't have time. So these started off as plain wood. Who would be calling me? Oh, it's my daughter's school. Let's just put it over to voicemail. So I got these cute little houses from Target about 3 or 4 months ago. I actually bought a bunch of them. So if you're curious in getting one, let me know. But they were plain wood. And today when I found out that Jenny was able to join, I painted them 3 different colors so that I could demonstrate to Jenny what one transfer alone can look like on 3 different colors. So Jenny, this is my one of my favorite transfers. I do have a lot of them, but Wander is one that I've used several times. Mm-hmm. I call these silly flowers. In fact, if we were, this is us, I think, in college. Kind of silly flowers, not taking anything too seriously.
That's
maybe
for sure.
A little bit too transparent. Very pretty, of course.
They're beautiful. I love the little hollyhocks or I don't know what those are, but they're pretty. Yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure to use this. These big, gorgeous splashes of color here. And then what you'll see with transfers, so I'm lifting it up. There's like this white page behind it, and there's this grid on it that helps you line it up. And then you can kind of see where my hand is underneath it. So there's transparent areas here. With this transfer, you can layer it on top of other transfers. And that can be a very pretty effect also. So here's some more flowers, just very, I just love wonder. So that is the name of this transfer. And so when I'm first starting out and I'm looking for the transfer to put in the right thing, I'm usually working on a bigger board, like maybe a 6x8. These are pretty small, but I thought they would be a good way to quickly demonstrate like how to layer up, and cut things so that you can use them a couple different places. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this sheet right here, and I'm going to, so you can cut, so some of these are 4 sheets that you can put together to make one big image. And then so like this right here, you can kind of see where this transfer is, this flower is attached here. I'm actually going to cut that little flower out and just cut around this right here. You, with your, artistic decision making, get to decide how you want to use the transfer, and if you want to cut it up or if you want to use it whole the way it is and just use the composition that's kind of already set up for you, or it's yours. You get to decide what you do with it. And the fun thing is that if you do something you don't like, or you just cover it up, or you toss it, but I tend to cover things up at this point with just another transfer. So here's this big beautiful orange flower, and it's way too big for anything that I've got here. So I'm going to cut it down, I think a little bit more. I think I'm going to cut these buds off. I think I'm just going to go for this one big flower, and I'll probably end up wrapping around this blue one, but I'm going to show you what it looks like over the different colors, so you kind of get an idea of the transparency that's happening here.
Okay.
And if anybody who's watching has any questions or comments, let me know. I would love to know where you're watching from, who your college best buddy was, and if you guys are still in touch, and what your experiences with transfers. Jenny and I are not shy, so if you have any questions for us, we are here to answer.
So how close do you need to get to the, to your subject, your when you're cutting around?
It's kind of up to you. I mean, it's up to you and what you've got in front of you and what you want to do with it. So like here you see I've cut out a whole flower, and I've got this stuff right here that looks like something is missing. But I could just easily come here and put this right here, and no one's going to know that I've cut it out of something.
Okay.
So I'll show you how I do that. I'll do that for you. So it's really up to you. And sometimes I mess up when I cut things. And so lots of times I'll have a flower like this, and the stem will come to here in the composition, and I've got all this missing stuff underneath. Like, what am I going to do? I'll bring in like greens or fronds from another transfer and just cover it up, because you can layer as much as you want.
Okay.
So Shannon's here from Sumner, Washington. She loves jumping on my lives. Welcome, Shannon. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Shannon.
All right.
I've got.
All right, so you peel off the back. You kind of peel off the back when you're closer to knowing what you want to do. When you start, and you don't want to really lay it down on your surface until you're very close to what you want to do. Sometimes, so like what I've done here to treat the surfaces is I painted it with chalk paint, and then I did what's called, I sealed it with a top coat, and that basically, especially for beginners, makes the transfer stick easier when you go to rub it. And the other thing it does too, when you're working on larger pieces especially, is that like 6 months down the road, when you have a layer of a top coat, and then you put your transfer on, and then you do another layer of a top coat on top of that, it really seals it down and stops it from like bubbling or getting scratched and nicked. It really protects it.
Is the top coat, that's not an acrylic, is it? Or
no, I'm looking for one of the ones I just used today. So I love, I've been using a lot of, I'm stepping away from the camera to find the acrylic I used today, top coat. It's not an acrylic, matte sealer. So I've got Amy Howard at home. There's some called Big Top Circus is amazing. Andy Sloan has some good ones. There's so many out there. Even Rust-Oleum has some awesome ones. I've actually found Rust-Oleum to be a really great top coat, and it's cheap. And they also come in spray paint cans, which makes it easier for bigger pieces too.
right.
So, Shannon had COVID. That's not good, Shannon.
I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. Okay, so let me hold this up. So here's like kind of orange on orange. This is like a peach color, but then if you look closely here, see it's really pretty. And this is something that'd be really fun to layer on this color, which I will probably do. And then on blue, it takes on a whole different look. And then I'm guessing on black, it's going to look Halloween-y. Yeah. Or very much kind of darken in the background. Which one do you prefer? Which one would you like me to rub it on?
The first one.
The orange one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to do that. And so what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to try and cover up as much as I can here. And then I might have like a little bit of wraparound, like around the sides or on the top. Let's see here. So that's where it ends up there, down the bottom. I think I'm going to bring it up just a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. There's just probably a tiny bit here on the bottom that's hanging over the side. I'll show you.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
See that? Okay. So I'm going to, so what you do is you lay it down on top like this. This is a weird shape, so I'm probably going to make some weird noises as I rub off the side, but you just lay it down. There's a couple little bubbles in here just from laying it down. Actually, there might just be bumps from the wood underneath it. And I just kind of smooth it down just a little bit to get a head start.
Is the grid on top of that?
Yeah, the grid's on top. So the grid should not transfer to your wooden piece.
Okay.
There have been a couple of runs of transfers where what's happened after you rub off the transfer is that for some reason, you don't see the dark grid lines, you see the light grid lines. Like for some reason, the transfer is sticking to the grid, but I've never had that with any of my transfers. I've seen it happen though on with some other people on the IOD Creative Tribe. All right, that was me taking a sip of wine. All right, so now you got it laid down. So here's my transfer. And I typically start in the lower right-hand side. If I was a lefty, I probably would start on the lower left-hand side. It's going to be really embarrassing if this doesn't transfer really fast. But I'm just rubbing. If it doesn't transfer here, I'll do it to a piece that's been dried for a few days. So hopefully that won't be a problem. It shouldn't be. This has been drying for a little bit. All right. It doesn't look like. I'm going to take a little peek here. Oh, it is totally transferring. So I'm going to transfer a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how oh,
yeah.
You see that?
I do.
Well, usually what happens is that you get that really clear look. So the top coat I use, the sealer I use is so good. It's just like sticking to it. And it's like really like normally when you transfer, you'll see this clear area right here. That's how you know it's gone to that's how it's transferred.
Okay.
Let me see here. So I'm just gonna this is a little cheat. So I'm totally gonna come in here and
Hey, if it works.
yeah, get it on there. Whoops. Whoa. All right. Glad nobody was hurt in that. Put that down. So some of it, yeah. So some of it's a little patchy. It's probably because the sealer I put on is probably still drying a little bit, but it's definitely sticky because it's sticking to it. That's okay. We'll make it work.
Okay.
It's part of doing artwork is you get unexpected things happening and you roll with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. It's very sunshiny.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. So that was actually pretty cool. So this is running over the top right here. I'm actually just going to smooth it down with my finger. And I'll come back in here and it's going a little bit over the stovepipe and I'll just cut that off later.
Okay. Like with an X-Acto knife or something.
Exactly. All right. And so I'm just going to smooth down the edges here with my finger. And you can see where on the transfer where it is still on there. So I save these and I use them in other places.
Oh, smart. Okay.
Yeah, you can always use these little scraps. I have like a whole folder full of scraps. So now what I'm doing is I'm pushing the transfer down with the paper that was the backing just to make sure that it's adhered down and there's nothing that's going to jump up and get ripped off. So that.
I love it. It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, right? It's like doesn't take much to. I mean, this is just what this is like. And sometimes uncomplicated is really nice. Like spring is coming and like I love the flowers in front of my house. And so like this with I'm gonna put flowers on these other two, like that can be great just by itself, you know?
Yeah, that could be really, really pretty.
Yeah. All right. So like I said, I've got this left over right here. I'm going to put it on top of this. And later on, I'm going to make sure it matches up. I'm going to staple it because you need to protect your transfer. If I just threw it in the envelope with all the other transfers, it would get stuck and peel off on something else. So I still need to protect this. Okay. So I'm going to set that off camera. Okay. So now, and we also have this. I'm going to set this off camera too. I want to pick different colors for these two flowers over here. Maybe these two houses over here.
Okay.
All right. So we got orange on orange. Let's see. You liked this a lot, right?
I did. Yeah, that's really pretty.
So like imagine the flower here. This could go really well on this black one. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So what I'm doing here with the grid is I'm just coming down here and I'm saying I need to cut to about this line right here. And so this line and then on up from here.
Got it.
And make sure I don't cut anything underneath it. Okay. I got this. I'll move you over here. All right. So we're going to put this like right in the middle. We have this big, beautiful flower. And then this green leaf we will wrap around the side.
Okay.
I have a feeling this is going to probably do the same thing, which is it's kind of like not a really good, I have to say it just so people know, but it's not 100% great demonstration of what transfers should look like and feel like, because the top coat's still drying. Many times you have to spend, you're just sitting there rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and it just takes time. You have to be patient. So that is not typical, just so people know.
How long do you usually let the top coat cure? Like a couple days?
I'm an overnight person. Like I'll put I usually will do a coat of paint in the morning. I'll put the top coat on in the afternoon, and I let it dry overnight, and then I come back and do my transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as you saw, like it's working great. It adhered wonderfully. So when I'm doing really big pieces, like pieces of furniture where I'm doing like 4 panels on the front of something, I would not be comfortable with this, because there's so much to do. And I like knowing what's going to happen next. Like, this was a little bit unpredictable, but it's a small piece. We're on a live. It's going to look good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something bigger over a period of time, I'm not sure how that would look. So, all right. So I'm going to try this one right here. I'm going to start down at the bottom, and I've been kind of smoothing it out here. I'm going to kind of come in and just do this along the bottom. This should really pop on the black.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see what happens.
And you use chalk paint, right, for your colors?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have like 5 different brands of chalk paint here. I've been really loving it's like a 1-step, which is what I'm using right here. It's it feels more finished than some other brands. When I like when you first put this on, like I feel like it's like one and done. It really is a 1-step. Some other brands of chalk paint, it's been a little like it's a little dry, patchy, and it's not so
right.
Yeah, it just takes time. All right, so we got this right here. Let's see. Oh, that's good. All right. So you see where it's kind of leaving the transfer. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. It's a little more transparent, I guess.
Yeah. And okay, so now listen for this noise. It's like a little crackling noise.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like a bubble.
Yeah, that's the noise of it transferring. It's funny you mentioned bubble, because so many of the IOD stockists, especially ones who have been around for a while, I think they call it riding the bubble. So they get that bubble going like that, and they just ride it.
That's funny. It's kind of like, it sounds like surfer language, surfers.
Yes.
Hey man, we gotta ride the bubble.
Let's ride the bubble, man.
I love it.
All right. So see how it's transferring?
Oh yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah. This is a more proper transfer.
This is inspiring me, because when I bought the transfers, I enjoyed looking at them, and then I didn't know what to do.
It can be a little bit like, because like I came into this with a lot of upcycling experience in painting furniture and doing transfers. I'm not transfers, stencils. So I have been around the block a few times, and but hearing like your insight and insight from other people, it's like I gotta think about things from like a brand new perspective, right? Like, if you've never done this before, what would this look like and feel like?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna see if I can just take this off so this wraps around. Okay, I lost a little bit there, but that's okay. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, it looks pretty on black.
It does look pretty on black. It kind of looks vintagey.
Yeah. So another thing you could do here is you could kind of come in here like with some gold around the edges or something if you wanted to frame it a little bit, but it's
Mhm.
looking really pretty the way it is right now.
It really is. Yeah.
So far we've got these two. And I want to kind of like put the blue in the middle so it doesn't look like Halloween. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. So that's what we've got so far. So like in the middle, like what kind of flower is going to look really good here and like hold its own? So we've got kind of like orange on peach. We got this really pretty pink flower popping out on the black. So like what is it we want in the middle? And also another thing too to think about is that we got one huge flower here and we got two flowers here with a vine. So like what's going to look good in that middle spot?
I saw a really pretty daisy. Are there any like bunches of daisies or something like that?
Well, let's check.
Yeah. Oh, and you have a question from Shannon.
Oh, no, Wander is not retired. I would cry if it was retired. I'll double check, Shannon, for you, but I don't think it is. Wander is pretty popular. Let's see, some daisies, like a big daisy.
I was thinking maybe like a bunch of daisies, but I don't know.
We
I
got
don't know.
these two here.
Those are really cute.
These little ones right here. We got this really big one.
I like that little one. It's very whimsical.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could come in here and just cut this one out. And then, oh, look, there's one over here that's kind of similar. So if you kind of look at this right here, this would actually be a really good one. We could cut out this right here and then this daisy and put it all on and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Let's do
that then. All right, cool. All right. All right, so while I'm cutting, you tell a story from our college days.
Do we really want to go down that road?
You can find a PG-13 story to tell, I'm sure.
Actually, what you had posted earlier today, I think it was on the Accidental Art Maker, about an article from the Washington Post about being creative. And it just made me think about, the last 2 years and the pandemic, and how just having something creative to do was just a real lifesaver. And I know it was for you, and it certainly was for me too. I don't know. Do you think that you would have found your way to doing this kind of art on your own? No?
Nope. Not without the pandemic. Very much a 9-to-5er with probably more like an 8-to-6er with an hour commute. So a 7 to 7.
Yeah.
And just no time for this. And very traditional in the sense of I'm the bread maker in my family. I have to bring home money for the mortgage and college and things like that. And it was comfortable. And now I don't know, something with the pandemic, it's just kind of like, give myself a little bit more space on this transport. It's kind of like, I don't know, like I needed to do art to survive, and I did not need to do art to survive before. And now for me, there's like no backing out. Like I have to do this for the rest of my life. It's not just kind of like a little thing to do until the pandemic's over, whenever that's going to be. Yeah.
I think for me, it initially started off that way because I started sewing because I found my daughter's sewing machine in the laundry room, and I decided, what the heck, I'm just sitting at home. I might as well teach myself to sew. But then I don't know, at some point that it changed. Like I went from doing it just to kind of waste time to doing it because it made me feel good, to doing it because it was so much fun to teach myself something new. and it was really exciting.
Mm-hmm. I've got a great apron from you.
Oh, that's
With the
right.
sharks on it. The sharks. Yeah, the
Yeah.
shark apron. I love it.
Yeah, Amazing Ocean. Yeah, that was one of my early pieces. But you mentioned, yeah, college, and I don't think did you take any art classes in college? Because I don't
I
know.
took art history. I did not
Oh.
take at Mary Washington. I took I think I did take an art class there besides art history.
Mhm.
And then I went to people. So then I ended up transferring eventually to the Corcoran School of Art in Washington, D.C. But I got a BFA in graphic design, not fine arts, because while I enjoyed fine arts, I could tell from the amazing talent around me that, like, good luck. But I really enjoyed graphic design, and that was right at the time when Macintoshes were coming out into the market. And
Yeah.
I got into the first Mac in Washington, D.C. at the lab at the Corcoran, and I never looked back. I was like, this is what I want to do. I need to be working. I need to be doing something on the computer the rest of my life. Um,
Wow.
and that's never changed, as you know. Like I've always been. I ended up transitioning into project management because I couldn't find a job in graphic design, and I was a very good project manager of graphic designers,
Mm.
and that's kind of carried me through my professional 9 to 5
Yeah.
life,
Mhm. Yeah.
which has been quite fascinating too. All right, so we got these two daisies here, which are going to look beautiful. And I think we put like this one like on top or floating off the side. Let's do this
Mhm.
one first and
Okay.
then see which other one we want to bring in. And then, so I want this to wrap around the side, and then it's going to be kind of like the side's going to be kind of left hanging here, but I'll figure that out later.
Okay.
Let me just show you also like how this would look on the other colors here. Do you see how much it changes?
It's really pretty on the orange. I like that too.
Yeah. And then let's see what it looks like on the black. Oh,
Mm.
wow. That looks awesome. I mean, everything looks good on black.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
that's
so
really pretty.
stunning.
Yeah. All right. We're doing this on the blue. It's very like kind of subtle.
That
And
that looks Eastery to me.
it does. Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens with this transfer. So it's kind of smoothing it down. And
Mm.
I'm going to start down here. And like not much is happening as far as the transfers. I'm going to start down. See this big petal right here? Let's see what I can do with this big petal. Let's see. Is it going to stick? Yeah, it's sticking. Okay.
So, do you remember what Mac you started on when you were
I
in
think it was an
college?
SE2.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I was at a printer recently for a press check, and they had like the history of printing, and
Uh-huh.
like towards the end, there was I think it was an SE2 Mac there.
Uh-huh.
It was like next to a picture of the Gutenberg or
Oh,
the drawing of the Gutenberg press or whatever like
that's
that.
so funny.
And,
I remember printing things out off my Mac for the first time. And it really felt like a miracle that like
mhm.
this I had like morphed a picture of my face with a walrus face or something like that and printed it out. It was hysterical. Um, yeah. And kids these
Yeah.
days, they think they're so funny when they do stuff like that, but we were doing it first.
Oh my gosh, you really were.
All
I think
right.
I think I think we came of age at just the right time when technology was just beginning to take off.
Yeah, having the context around like when it really took off, like before iPhones and like how something like an SE2 went
Mhm.
to like what Apple is doing today, like having that context, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
it was black and white and pixels like, well, not as big as this, but it was just like you had pixels that you could see in your
Mhm.
picture, you know?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. This one is just she's a stubborn daisy. All right.
Oh, that is really pretty. Oh my gosh.
Are you feeling now like you could do a transfer on your own? If you
Yeah,
got,
I'm trying to think, like, what would I want to work on? Do I wanna start with something like a block like that, or could I work my way up to a like a frame maybe? I don't know.
I'll show you like, I think it's like a 6x8 I have here. So this is just more for tonight, but I
Mhm,
would start with something as a first time transfer person. I would start with something like where the composition's kind of like already there for you and you just rub it down and you just see what that experience is like and you start building on it.
okay.
Um, but unless you have like unless you have an artistic background already, you probably can figure out composition and things like that.
Mhm.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to see if this will wrap around. All right, it cut
Mm.
off. That's fine. I can figure that out later. But look, how pretty is that?
I think that's my favorite.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
I like it's on the house because if you think about like one of my favorite things to do in the spring is to when I go out for my walks is look at all the different flowers that are blooming or blossoming or poking through the ground. And you walk by them every 2 or 3 days and you see how they are.
Mhm,
Uh, so every house kind of becomes associated with a flower for me or a
mhm.
garden or something like that. I love watching how they pop up in spring. So like if you look at all three of these, I could put like one more daisy on up here too. That would be like really pretty. You kind of want things in threes also.
Yeah. Mhm,
But if you look like, you could put that on your entranceway, like just a little pretty welcome to my home thing.
mhm. Or
So,
in the doorway, if you have a big enough lip on your door
oh
sash.
yeah. Oh yeah, that would be really pretty. Yeah, it's pretty simple and straightforward. And when I'm done with this, I'll put another top coat on to seal it. But I might wrap flowers around. So like if you were gonna put it in your window and you could have something you see from the inside and something you see from the outside too,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
could also be really fun. Or
Mhm.
you could do like a fall theme on the back. And so you kind of got that covered.
Yeah. You do some really fun things for fall. That's for sure, yeah. But
Yeah.
do you need to apply a coating to the transfer?
Yeah,
Um
you want to do a top coat on top of the transfer for sure.
Mhm,
Um, and and it's just the same thing that's underneath. It's like they're both it's the same top coat. So and that just seals it down so that it doesn't uh, bubble or get hurt easily. So you can kind of be you don't want to throw it across the room at somebody, but like if
yeah.
you're taking it out of like a box of decorations, it's not gonna get damaged easily.
Mhm, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the transfer wander. There's other things like I was mentioning early. I might just show you really quick so you can see it. Well, let me show you this really fast. So here's a bigger board where you could do um, a transfer, a whole transfer right here in the middle. These are boards that, oh, look, so here's this is where I'm at after a couple of years doing this. And
Mhm.
so I painted it several different colors. I was in a dark mood this day, in case you can't tell.
Yeah.
It was like purples and blues, and then I painted in the background. And then there's like this stamp in here. It's one of my favorites. It's called "Kindest Regards," and so it looks like a handwritten letter. And then I mixed a bunch of different transfers together. Um, I think this is at least 3 different transfers actually. So this little guy right here is from what is this transfer? It's called Exploration. And then I think this one is from Franz. And then I think this one might be from Astoria. So it's like black and white color, and then more black and white, but a very different kind of style in the background. Because I was trying to make it look like he was landing there into a dark forest.
Wow.
But the lady who I often consign my artwork with always gets, she's like, just do one side. Don't do both sides. Like, you should only do one side. I'm like, but I have this side. I have to work with it. I have to do something. She's like, no, you don't. Just do one so you get twice as much art. But like on this side of the wood panel, so you got like little shadow box frame, and then you could do a little transfer in here. And what I did here was I just painted this all gray, and I took 2 strips of painting tape and I laid it down, and I took some white chalk paint, and I got most of the chalk paint off, and it's called dry brushing. And so I just kind of went over so that you could get this dry brush effect. And so it just looks like a little bit of I don't know what else to call it besides dry brush. It's kind of like this patchy dry brush worn down looks to it. And then with this, then you take the tape out, and you got this solid back here, which really can help you anchor whatever kind of transfer you're doing, or composition and stuff like that. And it gives you a little bit of extra in the background.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you need to start out, if you're starting out with transfers for the first time, find a transfer that you love, and find like, and just go for it. Like, don't start with your most favorite part of the transfer. I'm going to back up here. Hi. Don't go with your favorite. So when you get your book of transfers, they come like in 4 and 8 pages. Don't go for the most favorite thing first. Like, cut out something that you like, that makes you happy, and find a board or something to put it on and paint, and just explore it and enjoy it, and see what happens, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have much invested in it. And then by the time it maybe like your second or third transfer, start using the images that you super duper love and you're a little bit more adventurous with. And if you do mess up, you're not scared to go back in there and like pluck another transfer down on top of it to, like,
right,
cover up whatever it is. Yeah.
So I'll try to make 2 things.
Okay.
And then when I'm happy with them, I'll take pictures and send them to you.
Yay! And I'll post them on my Facebook page, and maybe we could even do a follow up here on YouTube, and you could share, because it's been a long time for me, and I forget how intimidating or it's a little bit scary it can be, to like just get started with transfers. And so I would love to bring you back on and have you talk through kind of what your experience was and what you learned from it, and what you want to do next.
Okay, I'll do that. And this is very helpful for me, because that's how I learn, really, is by watching. So a video is critical.
Awesome. Well, I'll tag this on YouTube as a beginner tutorial for transfers. And yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining tonight. And you know what? You should go through my website and pick out a transfer, and I'll send it to you.
Oh my goodness!
I won't charge you. Don't tell anybody, okay?
It's our secret. One of many.
That's what happens when you know each other for a very long time.
For sure.
All right. Well, I know it's your time in Virginia. Thanks so much, Jenny, for participating tonight, and can't wait to see what you make.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Talk to you later. All right, everybody, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching live if you joined, and for catching this on the replay. Let me know, and let me know what you thought about it. It's very, very much a beginner tutorial. Gosh, it felt really good to do something super simple and not feel like I needed to create some kind of masterpiece, but just like a very pretty little entry piece for my home. So I hope you got something out of this too. Please share and like if you feel like you should. Talk to you all later.